Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Have you ever wanted to build your own fishing rod? Well, if you have, this is going to be the first in a series of videos where I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. Now, the rod that we're going to be building together today is one that I'm going to use for fishing techniques like a Tokyo rig, maybe a heavy cover jig in that 1/2 to 3/4 ounce, as well as a bladed jig in that 1/2 to 3/4 ounce range as well. So I'm going to show you exactly how to find the spine of the rod, then how to mark out where I'm going to place the guides, and finally in this video we are going to assemble the reel seat as well as the handle assembly. That's where I always start on a rod, and all that starts right now. Okay, all the blanks that I always use are from Mud Hole, and this blank is an MHX blank. It's an MB873. It's a 7'3" medium heavy with a fast action, and for me that's always been perfect, especially for fishing a worm or a jig. Heck, you could even fish a frog on that, a heavy spinner bait. There's a lot of different things. It's a great blank for numerous different techniques, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find the spine of that rod, and how you do that is by placing it on a hard surface, and I'm going to move my hand up here and I'm going to roll the blank back and forth. Somewhere when I'm doing this, the blank is going to catch. In other words, I'm going to feel it in my hand and it's going to stop, and it's right there. I can feel it just kind of roll in and lock. That's how I know where the spine is. When I do that, then I'm going to take a grease pencil right here, and I'm just going to mark on here where I felt that lock. Now, the top part of that blank, my mark is here. The top part is where I would build a casting rod. The bottom is where I would build a spinning rod. Well, since today we're going to be building on the top part of that, because this is going to be a bait cast rod, I'm going to start on the top of where I marked right there. For any rod building, Mud Hole makes it easy. So you go to mudhole.com, and I typed in guide spacing. Well, here's what came up. The guide spacing charts. I'm building on an MHX blank, so I simply click on that. There is a chart for any rod, any length of rod that I want to build on. I'm going to print that off, and then we're going to go mark the guides. Now, working with the sheet that I printed off here, I'm using a 7'3" action rod, so I'm going to make sure that I'm on the part of the blank that I want to build on. There's my mark right there. That's exactly what I want. I'm going to line it up right here with the end of the tape, and my first guide on a 7'3" is 2 5/8, so I find that. I use that grease pencil again, mark right there, and what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to go down the line, and this chart will show you everything exactly where you need to do. So the next one is 5 5/8. I go right along here. I do that, and on this rod there's going to be 10 guides, so I'm just going to continue following this chart, go all the way down, and it's that simple and that quick. Now it's time to install the grips, or part of the handle assembly, and you can do that in individual pieces, or to make it even simpler like I always do, I just order the kit, and this is a handle assembly, or the grips, however you want to call it, that I really like. I put that on a lot of rods, so it comes all together, including the winding checks on here. I'll get into that a little bit more when we get to that point. The reel seat that I'm using is from American Tackle. It's called a P-seat, and it's made from compressed carbon fiber. When compressed carbon fiber came out several years ago, after I tried it one time, that's the only thing that I will use on building my rods. Why? Because everything that you feel on graphite is intensified even more when you run that graphite through compressed carbon fiber. This is the P-seat, as I said, from American Tackle. It contours to my hand extremely well, and I build a lot of casting rods with this. So now the next thing we're going to do is we are going to ream out the grips to make sure that they fit on the rod. That happens right now. So we're going to ream out the grips now to make sure they fit on the rod, because obviously, as you can see, they're a lot smaller. So I'm going to take hand reamers. You can also get those at Mud Hole. They come in a kit, and for this one I'm going to be using 3. I'm going to start with the smaller one, then go up to the next size, and then go up to the larger size, which is going to be able to correctly fit the grips on the rod blank. So the next thing we're going to be doing is mixing a 2-part epoxy or adhesive called Pro Paste. So I'm going to do this. All right. Get enough there. Okay. Now this will activate once I get both of these together. So I take equal amounts from both of them. That should be pretty good right there. And then I'm just going to mix them together here. Put that lid back on there. Okay. And just mix them again. I want to mix it as thoroughly as I possibly can. Just give it a little bit there. And I'm looking for kind of like a off-white color. And once I achieve that, then we're going to be ready to put it on the blank and install the grips. Okay, so now I'm going to take some of that adhesive that we mixed together, and I am going to spread it on the rod blank like so. And don't worry about getting a little bit extra on there. If you do, that's okay. Like we said, just a little bit. Make sure you think you have enough on there. And I'll even put some on the end right here, and I'll show you why just in a little bit. Okay, once the adhesive is on there, now I'm going to take the butt here and I am going to rotate it. I'm not just going to pull it straight up on there. I am going to move it around nice and easy like so. There we go. I'm going to go past the rod by the end of the blank, and then I'm going to pull it back just to make sure, and you can see and you can also feel when it really starts gripping in there. That way you know that you are going to have a really tight and secure fit. It's not going to go anywhere. Now I have a little bit of the adhesive that got around on the outside here, right in here, and that is what I want, because now I am going to take the butt cap here and put it on there, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to turn. And as I turn, I'm spreading that adhesive through there, and that is going to make a much more secure fit. I push it up there, I can feel it's right on the end of the rod blank, that's where I want it. Then I'm going to take that winding check that I put on there, and some of the adhesive on there, that's perfect. I'm going to push up on here. That cleans off the adhesive, and it actually will now be glued, so to speak, to that, and that is your winding check. It makes a lot nicer complete fit on the rod, and that way that's where you can start if you want to put a thread design on there, or however you want to do that on there, but you now have a nice complete finished look. Now we're going to do the grip. All right, now I'm ready to put on the grip, and if you see right here, here's the bevel part right here on the front part of the grip. That's actually where the real seat is going to go on. So I'm going to want to slide it up on the rod, the butt part of that first. Now I have a winding check that I put right here. For most of the casting rods that I build, for me, it's comfortable to have exactly 5 inches between the top of the butt cap and where the back of the grip goes. So I simply move a winding check up there. I put it in place. I make sure my ruler is right at 5 inches, which it is. So now that's my guide to where I am going to put the grip. So before I do that, I am going to take some more of the adhesive and I am going to put it up on the blank here, like so. That. And I'm going to be thorough with it. And you know what? I don't mind putting a little extra. I can clean that off. I would rather have a little bit too much to start than not enough. I've only had one of these come loose, and in all the time that I've done this, and I always make sure a little extra is always better than not enough. So we should be pretty close to about right there. Just a little bit more on there. All right, that's looking pretty good. Just a little bit more. All right, that is looking pretty good. Okay, now I'm going to take the grip and start again at the front part of the rod. I'm going to slide that on, just like so. And then we're going to do exactly the same thing with this that we did with the butt. And that is going to be, we are going to rotate that, and we're going to get that adhesive going all through there. And if I get a little bit over, that's okay. Do that. Always have this with the isopropyl alcohol on there and clean some of that off. There you go. All right, getting right near the end there. There we go. Right like that. Take another paste of towel, and I'm just going to wipe around there. The extra glue in there now is just going to seal. It's just going to end up sealing where that winding check is. And now, that's that. Looking pretty good. Now we're going to install the reel seat. Since we're ready to install the reel seat, just so you can see right there, the reel seat itself is actually wider than the blank. So I'm going to install arbors. Those are contact points that build up the rod blank so the reel seat sits firmly on there, and I'm going to use this blue tape right here to do that. I'm going to build 3 arbors within the space of the blank, about the length or just a little bit shorter than that reel seat, so it can be anchored down on there. And I start like this, and it ends up looking, there you go. There's my arbors all built in. I'll end up putting adhesive on that and then sliding the reel seat over so it is completed right there. Let's put that adhesive on. Okay, now that my arbors are on there, as I said, we're going to take some of that adhesive, and now I'm thoroughly going to coat this because I want to make sure. The great thing about this Pro Paste is once this stuff dries, it's not going anywhere, and it's rock solid. I've used this since I first started building rods, and I really like this stuff, so I haven't changed. It's always been consistent for me. It's always worked. As you saw, it was easy to mix. Didn't take very much time at all. And I want to get this on here pretty good, and then I'm going to show you what I think is acceptable. Like I said, I've never had a problem with it, and it's easy for, especially for a beginning rod builder, to once you get this, you can have confidence in it. This is a great product that once you put this on here, that it's going to stay. It's really great building lures to catch fish on, and then when you add building your own rods to it, and there truly is, there's no better source for building rods when it comes to instruction and education of learning exactly how to do it, is from Mudhole, and that's how I learned. A good friend of mine, great rod builder, Don Morse, works for American Tackle, and now for Mudhole, actually showed me how to build these rods, and he did that by sending me videos that are easily accessible on YouTube, or just going to mudhole.com, and they go over numerous ways to build rods and all the techniques that are included. It's just a great source of education. Trust me, if I can do it, so can you. So this is exactly what I want. That should be more than enough adhesive right there. As you can see, it's thoroughly coated over everything. And now I'm going to take my reel seat, and we're going to do, again, the same thing. I'm going to slide this on here, just like so, and then I am going to rotate. And I am just simply going to rotate like that. You can feel it getting through there. The more of these you build, you know about exactly by feel where to stop with the tape. And does it take some practice? Yeah. First couple times, honestly, I messed up. It's all right. I took the thing off and I kind of started over again, and I learned after 1 or 2 times of making a mistake, I didn't make it anymore. Now I can feel it getting tighter and tighter. That's exactly what I want. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I know where my marks are. Remember when we put that mark on there to show you exactly where the correct part of the spine on the rod is? There's mine right there, which means I have to move mine to about right here. I'm now perfectly lined up. Everything, my assembly, my reel seat, everything is perfect right on there. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a winding check and fill that in right there. I'm going to let this dry overnight, and that is right there. That's it. That's what it takes to put together your reel seat and your whole handle assembly. I'm going to let this dry overnight, as I said. And the next video we do right here is going to be on showing you how to attach the guides on here. We've got all the spacing. You saw all that done. So the next one, we're going to start wrapping and installing the guides. And before you know it, we're going to have a completed rod. Hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you subscribe, share it with some of your friends, and I hope you get into rod building. Until next time, God bless you. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.